Motion to return to public session? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We will move to unfinished business. Do we have anything? Okay, we'll move on to the approval of minutes for the regular meeting minutes of May 22, 2018, the executive session minutes of May 22, 2018. Any motion?
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Roll call.
Mrs. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Notaro,
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe,
Yes.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
Mr. Woodcue,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Veely.
Yes. Okay, public comments. Take public comments on agenda items only. If you have a comment, step to the podium, state your name and address. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, we will open public comments for agenda items only at this time. Each speaker should state his or her name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to address the board, which will be timed by me. We will limit this section to no longer than 45 minutes. Please be respectful and mindful that your comments are being recorded. Anyone? Okay. This is the agenda item section, just so you know. You got an agenda item?
No, not exactly. I haven't come up with an agenda item. I just have some.
There's another section at the end.
Okay, no, wait.
You can talk about any you want.
Apologies.
All right. Okay.
Don't know all this formality stuff.
Yeah. All right. Presentations. Student council, what's your?
Good evening. I would like to thank you all for supporting the Student Council and for listening to our monthly updates every meeting. Some things our council accomplished this school year are the homecoming football game and dance, the Powder Puff football game, the holiday bazaar, the multiple pep rallies, wildcat periods, and spirit weeks, and we donated money to the DeCarlo family. We are recognized as a council for all the things we have done for our school and were awarded with the Community Smile Award. We also completed our election for next year, so as I call your name, can you please stand? Nick Thomas, President. We have Abby Block for Vice President. Secretary Sydney Hill. Treasurer Rich Vogt. And then up here I have the new Speaker of the House, Laura Weiss, so she'll be speaking to you guys next year. So thank you again, have a nice night. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, HPEA. Parliament Crusoe, President, will update us on HPEA.
I come from here with a sad heart. I want to thank the administration for handling the untimely death of a student. They don't do everything right, we don't do everything right, but thank you. Thank you for your support. Dr. Ripley, thank you for your support. Of course, we always can do things better, but as a parent, it's very difficult. On that note, we'll move on. But I want to thank the administration for your support. I was thinking this past couple of weeks as my role as HPEA president. And I led my thoughts to my mother, who always said, you know, we're a community. And we are a community of several communities that come here. So we're a community that's coming into a community. And we're members. And we have faith in that community that we support each other as a community. And I have a heavy heart that we are at impasse at this point and going into mediation. Besides that, we are still professionals. We are teachers. We are advocates. We are lovers of our children. When they're hungry, we feed them. When they're sad, they cry on our shoulders. We're there for them. A lot of us have advanced degrees, and a lot of us continue to educate ourselves because technology, I'm lost sometimes. We have to be ahead of the curve, and we're there for our kids as a community, which you entrust upon us. You're our employer, we're the employees, and it's very difficult at this time to be strong for everyone, but we will still be professional, and we hope that you regard us as we regard you as our employer, as special people for our children. Like I said, we hope to a quick resolution in the mediation process. Thank you.
Okay.
Regarding the initial comments, what has happened in the High Point community for the last week and a half, I would like to state that publicly that the crisis management team, the staff, Mr. Talamay, and the administration, and our teachers have demonstrated the word community to a degree of empathy and compassion that has served to bring us together to a degree that demonstrated something with which I'm hopeful that all of us in this room as community members are proud, because I am proud to be affiliated with this community and to have seen the manner in which they came together to endure, overcome, and to address a tragedy is something that, while very emotional, is something that I'm extremely proud of, and believe that Mr. Talamay's handling of it was exceptional, and our staff was exceptional, and I just wanted to say that publicly.
All right, principal's report, Mr. Talamay.
Thank you, Mr. Veely. So I just wanted to follow that up a week ago, almost a week ago, so in this room it was a very different conversation. And that was a very difficult conversation for us all to go through. And I want to thank staff, first and foremost, the students that are here as well, for the support through this difficult time. It's by no means over, you know that, as we get ready for graduation. But I'm absolutely, to echo Mr. Caruso and also Dr. Griffith's words, was a community effort. And I hope that we never have to go through that again as a community. But with those situations that occur, we know that we always can look back and improve on things. We know that we always can do better. We hope that the most important thing is to support our students moving forward. It was a difficult time. It is a very difficult time. I just wanted to thank the staff for being there for students every single day. Not just in these situations, but in all situations, you guys mean a lot to us. You know that. And without you, we would not be able to get through these difficult times. I'm just pray that we don't have this situation rise again. Just a real quick report on my behalf, Mr. Veely. One is the end of year schedule. We're rocking and rolling. Today was our first half day. We have our assessments for period 1, 2, 3, and 4 for all students starting tomorrow. We kick off the graduation rehearsals for seniors in the afternoon at 12:30. That's our first chance at rehearsals, and then in person on Thursday and Friday as well. Our senior dinner and here tomorrow at 5:30. We'll be in the cafeteria. Administration always enjoys that. We always get a chance to serve all the families and parents and students. So we always get a nice time to laugh and socialize, and that's much needed as well. And then we'll have 7 o'clock, we'll be in awards in the auditorium tomorrow night. And then obviously graduation is slated for Friday. It looks like right now, as of Tuesday 19th, this time, the weather looks okay for Friday. We want to be outside, we all know that, so let's hope that continues to be that way as well. I want to thank the staff again, as we, I always say, how we finish is how we start. And I'm really appreciative of all your hard work, dedication, as we have a little bit longer school year than we anticipated when we started the school year. We know that some schools have much longer school year than we do. So we take that for what it is, and we appreciate that you're going to work hard to finish it strong for the school year and wrap up this week. Then I can shift over to the athletic report. Mr. Van Orden gave me a very detailed report. In the sake of time, I'm just going to skip to a couple sections. He has each season summarized here very eloquently, and a lot of those things we've updated kind of going through. I just wanted to hit a couple of the key awards throughout this year, and then some participation numbers. As you know, many of you were there. We had the Hall of Fame banquet on June 7th at the Lafayette House. That was our 6th year that Mr. Norton has coordinated that. That's our Hall of Fame banquet, plus also our end of year sports awards programs. And that was very, very well received. The packed house again. Chester Duke Longport, class of 1974. Bob Lutheran, class of 2000. Shannon McAvoy, class of 2007. And Jessica Brewer, Lane, class of 2008, were our inductees this year. Very tremendous job done, Mr. Norton. I think it's one of our best nights because we have our current athletes sitting here listening to our former athletes. And there's such a special bridge and connection, as many of them said, how athletics has shaped them throughout their life. And be able to speak to our students is really a nice event. So kudos to Mr. Norton for that night. We also had the National Women, they get a summary of the year. National Women and Girls in Sports Day, January 28th, that was at Seton Hall University. High points nominee was Katie Badalero, Paso Long Scout athlete. Sawyer Fenlon, that was May 11th at Norman Farms. The Morris County Football Foundation Scout athlete, that was Chad Vasily, and that was at on March 22nd. Katie Badalero was also honored on May 20th on Pines Manor, around South Jersey, as the NJSIAA Scout athlete from White High School. And there's about over 400 student athletes around the state that are recognized at that event. Senior Chad Vasily and junior Tyler Wingle were honored on November 19th, 2017 as the Rising Star Scout athletes at Rider University. Chad also won an additional $150 scholarship for his conscious school on the football field and in the classroom. And Tyler will be eligible for a scholarship next year as a senior. They get recognized 1 year as a Rising Star, they get recognized the second year, which is where the scholarship comes. Our participation numbers for the school year that Mr. Norton has provided. In the fall, we had a total of about 27% participation rate. In the winter, we had about a 20% participation rate. This is overall for the 5-5. In the spring, we had about 29% overall. So 20 to 30% range is that, and that's pretty much where we are year to year. For each season, there's a breakdown with boys and also girls. Okay. Any questions on any of those things? Thank you very much.
So is this going to be perfect on the graduation?
That's what I'm hoping for, Mr. Crusoe. That's what I'm hoping for.
Good evening. As we were preparing for tonight's meeting, we were serenaded by Joe Lombardo and his jazz ensemble. Frequently reminded how amazing our students are. They come here with an interest and they leave here with a finely tuned passion. Just an amazing performance. I have it playing in the background in my office. Teresa and to your department, congratulations on how you shape and harness talent. Really spectacular. If anyone hasn't seen it, just go on our website, hit the live stream icon on the upper right. You get 45 minutes of just wonderful, wonderful music. So congrats to Joe. Although there are criticisms of Park and of bureaucracy and of the New Jersey Department of Education, the Park assessment window closed 10 days ago, and Park results were preliminary release came out yesterday. And we're extremely excited, and tonight we have 5 math teachers, I believe 5 math teachers, Rachel, Christina, Jill, Kirsten, Brian, and I hope I didn't forget anyone. Our Park performance was strong, but in particular, I would like to highlight success in an area that we targeted for improvement. It was a goal of, the administrators had it as a professional development goal. It was a goal that I announced here when I presented last year's results, that one fundamental math course, which is a graduation requirement, would be targeted for improvement. And I want to thank Mr. Brian Drellick for his leadership and the math department for their outstanding commitment to student achievement. In July, the math teachers came in, they looked at the specific question breakdown from the 2017 results, zeroed in on areas to improve on, rewrote the curriculum, made a year-long commitment to improvement, came up with a plan to restructure how we administer PARCC by pulling Algebra 1 out of the regular assessment period and giving it at a later date. But more than anything, students respond to leadership, and I believe our Algebra 1 students responded to their teachers. That's the type of item analysis you get. It doesn't look very exciting, but it takes every standard assessed and says whether your students did poorly or not poorly. We had a 100% increase in the passing rate. This required course. Thank you, Mel. I think it's important to note that literacy is a fundamental element of math. If students can't read and comprehend word problems, they can't answer the problem. So when we have a large assessment where success like that occurs, we all own it. So congratulations to our entire staff. 41% needs to be viewed in context. PARCC is not like any other assessment. The state averages are below 50%. Our priority is on growth and improvement, not on a percentage that relates the way a classroom assessment might or the way that the HESPA might. So congratulations to us for really targeting in and having a lot of success in that one particular area. Our overall PARCC passing rate improved. An area that is somewhat difficult, our 11th graders do exhibit test fatigue, so we almost have to take their results with a grain of salt. But really great job across the board in administering tough assessment. The students are fatigued, I mention this almost every month, and they look for us for encouragement that they can do it, they will do it, and they did very well this year. So we're excited about that.
James Campbell, may I say
yes,
something
sure.
for a second? Math teachers that are here, since July, I'm on curriculum committee, and I know we only get to hear really good things that are going on in curriculum committee. But since July, since you guys met and put this all together, and Brian was talking about it, Seamus was talking about it, they have been shouting from the top of the board table how great the math department is in coming together to work on this terrible problem that we had, which is Algebra 1, was a terrible problem. And how you guys just like owned it, and you took it, and you ran with it, and you worked your butts off. Not that everybody doesn't work their butts off, but Algebra 1, come on, it was rough. And then to spend special time with those kids during the rest of the PARCC testing to make sure that they had extra, what do you call it?
The blitz.
The blitz, the snap blitz. And they wouldn't tell us what he knew this today, but he wouldn't tell us until we got here in front of the screen, because that's a big deal.
I also
Big deal.
thank you for reminding me, Linkit is a data warehousing software that we're purchasing through our Title I grant for next year. The math department was extremely responsive to it. What Linkit does is it, rather than trying to take a test that you create and find how individual questions connect to certain standards, it basically has a data of hundreds of thousands of assessments, and you enter in the standard that you want to assess, and it gives you a 45-minute assessment that students can take it as a benchmark and really figure out, are there some areas that we can highlight for improvement.
And Mrs. Anderson, it took away from the rest of the courses, because they were being tutored in that subject area, out of the rest of their English and history and social studies. So it's always a cost, yes. It's always a cost, but it worked out for what you wanted to say. And our math department's great, math counts. But it took a toll on the rest of the courses. So you don't have that.
So Lincoln is a software device that we'll be contracting with for next year. And it does provide that same type of analysis for all disciplines. So we're excited about that. I think the message is that when you target a problem and you zero in on it and you focus on it as a team, and success happens, you learn from that and try and model it in other areas. So we're excited about that. Starting Tuesday, we have a list of students that have failed MCA, Algebra 1, and Geometry. And the state of New Jersey requires 3 years of math, those 3 specific courses of Algebra 1, Geometry, and a year beyond Geometry. What we have found is statistically, when students begin to fail multiple math courses and they have to repeat that course, it becomes quite burdensome and often is a pathway towards being in no credit status and then not graduating. So trying to ensure that students are not overly burdened with multiple math classes junior and senior year has been a priority. So we have 8 sessions that we're offering starting this coming Tuesday and running through mid-July. It's very well structured and organized. There's a 2.5-hour window in the morning, 2.5-hour window in the evening, and students who need to demonstrate proficiency, but also to have a little skin in the game. We're not just giving them a 60, but a student that gets a 56, who perhaps didn't have a great year. If they come in July and they're willing to pay the price and willing to work with our teachers, we're excited that we can put them in a position to earn a 60 and to have credit and to move on. It's also available as an enrichment. We know that we will not have quite as many students excited for that, but we hope that some do. Take us up on that. It's potentially an opportunity for incoming students who may need to strengthen their math skills to use that as well. Summer days, which is an attachment for your consideration. Primary focus this summer, curriculum development. We have a long-standing tradition of when we teach a new course or when a teacher's never taught a course, we award workshop days to that staff member to develop the curriculum and become familiar with it. Starting last summer, any AP course that's going to run next year, we provide 1 day for that teacher to look at the test results from this year and to see how they might want to revise the curriculum based on that result. Those are our district goals, using data to find solutions for instruction is one of our 3 goals this year, and we're continuing to look at that. We also have summer days, particularly for English 10 and Algebra 1, the specific courses that need to be passed for graduation. So we're going to continue to look at test results and try and improve accordingly. Staff evaluations are 99% complete. There could be 1 or 2 that are lingering, but I just want to provide some data on this. Yesterday, I presented this to our DEAC committee, and I'll just run through some numbers rather quickly. First off, the state has a new program called the Reflective Practice Protocol. We're very proud of the fact that we were one of 17 high schools that piloted this. This is the whole idea of filming teachers and having teachers self-reflect and self-assess. The state took that and made it into a formal option, and it's called the Reflective Practice Protocol. If you are a tenured teacher who scores 3.5 or higher, you can take your 2 observations and you can choose to have one of the observations be your announced observation. One of your observations will be unannounced. All teachers still have to have one surprise, unannounced, you don't know when it's coming observation, that's the law. But for the observation where you predetermine the date and the period, in lieu of that, you can have a reflective conference with your supervisor and talk about your practice and do that. And I was really proud. Most districts have no one doing it. And we asked some of our teachers and said, look, we were one of the schools the state asked to help create this. It would be nice if we could try it. So a special thank you to Teresa, who's here tonight, Steve, Chris, Mike, Barbara, Kevin, Erin, for agreeing to go through what really is a little more work. Hopefully it was rewarding It wasn't too cumbersome. Our results from this year, when administrators go in to observe the classroom, there are 10 specific things that our rubric requires them to look at. These percentages show the frequency with which teachers receive a perfect 4 in that domain. I think it's always encouraging to see that 2A is by far, every year so far, our highest scored area. Because what 2A says is, when you walk in a room and you sit down after a few minutes, is there warmth? Is there a personal connection in that room between the students and between teacher and student? And obviously we do an excellent job of that. 3 areas that were lower than others, they're areas that I believe are particularly hard to score a perfect score on: questioning, assessment, and flexibility. SGO scores, I think what you see is the Achieve New Jersey system. It is a rubric, and our faculty is now in the 5th year of using that rubric. Well, you would hope you would see mastery and consistency if you use the same rubric for 5 years. And I think what this data shows is high achievement and consistency. Our summative scores this year were almost identical to last year. Those are really high. 63 teachers ended up with a 3.5 or higher. And if you look at our results over the last 5 years, you'll see a gradual increase and perhaps a leveling off of highly effective. Statewide, it's far more common to see the reverse. Many districts have 35% highly effective, most effective. We have a veteran staff that continues to demonstrate excellence through observation. So, any questions about that? I believe it's been, I think I speak for everybody in the room, it was a challenge at first to go from the much more personal observation method of I come in, I observe, and I give you a narrative write-up, to a little bit more of a structured rubric. But these are our end of the year results, so congratulations to our staff. Aldo Diodino did an outstanding professional development activity last week. He had the director of world language at TCNJ come up. I thank the board for their financial support to pay him. And our world language department spent the entire day out of the board conference room working on the concept of language acquisition. And this gentleman is an author and expert in the science of how we pick up language. And that's really his focus as a world language professor, is the neurological and scientific research to how you learn and master a language. It was great. They were right next to my office all day. It was loud. They were shouting. It was robust. It was really engaging. So thank you to Aldo for doing that. Aldo also took our entire world language department to, I think it was Randolph for the day. So they went off site, had a day together, observed the department doing something they would like to consider doing, then brought in an expert, and I think they were very excited and invigorated by that experience. Just a few snapshots that I took this afternoon. Every month I try and highlight one thing. End of the year, simply what's going on in the classroom. Our STEM symposium, Becky Sarno is here. We have 3 teachers that now in their 2nd year have done something really special where they combine technology, science, and math, and they really work to build the foundation of an integrated curriculum. Economics students, AP test is over. It's not all fun about it. It's kind of fun. Actually, that is fun games. But it's fun and games and learning in AP Econ. Thank you for your approval. Every now and then we have a special trip, and I ask the board to approve it retroactively, and I know that's something that we should try and minimize. This was an opportunity that came up since the May meeting, so thank you for your support. Serena Harris took her students to Frankfurt School, and they had a great experience together. Our Tech 1 students rocking it with their plaques. Very proud of their handiwork. Joan, perhaps those are some of your students? Right, okay.
Like all of us do.
Okay, nice. And this was pretty big on social media. Joy Carter, who we really gave a lot of thanks and appreciation for, 20 plus years as an passionate biology teacher, revised her entire teaching career to take on chemistry, and she's killing it. And this was really neat. They did crash test dummies, so every student had to create an airbag and put an egg in there and see if it would survive, and obviously the students had a lot of fun with that. Look out, because we have self-defense coming our way, and Duffin and Levansky. Really excited about it. They tried to get this going last year, thankfully it worked out this year, and for next year, self-defense will be part of our phys ed curriculum. We had a sexual assault prevention program this year. We have this as a new element of our health and phys ed. We need to be vigilant and dedicated and prepare our students for safety. Math department going out of Wanted School. We've done a lot to build connections with our students. So you saw Serena taking students out of Frankfurt. Here's our math department at Wanted School. And the fact that kids from Wantage, New Jersey are taking selfies at the Met is pretty awesome. So we take kids around the world and back to really great places. Thank you for your support of those endeavors. The STEM Fair, I believe Aaron Baker may have been the driving force behind that. Another event where elementary school students are in our building, working with our students and our staff, doing great things. And last but not least, it wouldn't be June if we didn't have the event of the season. So thank you to not just Joan, but to our entire school that fully embraces all students as equal members of our school community. And they come out in droves, and it chills up your spine thinking about this event, which is really special. So those are our curriculum elements. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to action items. Curriculum instruction, Mrs. Anderson.
Okay,